Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the School of Computer Science Virtual Open Day on Wednesday, the 16th of November. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Oliver Simanesik. I am a senior lecturer at the School of Computer Science. I'm teaching programming simulation, games development, physics simulation, games design, game studies, and I'm teaching a lot of programming, a lot of coding. I am also the admission officer. So if you've got any questions regarding admission, you can send me an email. My research background is crowd simulation, crowd AI, indoor location systems. Also got a bit of background in digital board games. And I'm also volunteering in the video games industry, working on some AAA title, which will be released sometimes next year. But during this virtual open day, I'm not on my own. I've also got on my right-hand side, I've got
Sam.
Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Can you say a couple of words about yourself?
So I'm Sam. I'm a second-year computer science student studying at the University of Lincoln, and currently we're working through the second-year modules at the moment.
That's great, thank you. And I've also got on my left-hand side, I may have confused left and right here.
Hiya. My name is Jonathan Byrne. I am a third-year games computing student from Surrey, and currently I'm going through my dissertation, which is to create a software for high-quality game cinematics.
That's great. That is your third-year project, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, the third-year project.
That's great. That's great. So yeah, those guys will be in the chat later. So if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them questions, and they will answer. They will give you a proper, honest point of view about how it is to study at the University of Lincoln. So what do we have today? So first of all, I'll do a short introduction for the next 5-10 minutes. And then Simon Parson, our head of school, will do a tour of the facilities. Yes, I'll be taking my camera and showing you all the facilities that we've got at the School of Computer Science. Then Derek Foster will do a short introduction about the computer science program, and then it's followed by Khaled Bashur, who will introduce games computing. At the end, there will be a short Q&A session with the students and with Khaled, Derek, and me answering all the questions that you have got. So first of all, I'd like to welcome you all to visit Lincoln. Lincoln is a beautiful medieval city in the heart of the Midlands, well, in the east of the Midlands. It is a beautiful area. We've got a lovely cathedral, which was one of the tallest buildings in the world for a while. And we've got a massive castle as well. On this picture, you can see that there is plenty of stalls in the castle area. That's actually a Christmas market, which will be in a couple of weeks' time. It's an absolutely fantastic time to visit Lincoln. It's brilliant. So I assume, Sam, you've been to the Christmas market before?
Yes, I have.
What do you think of it?
It was very, very large.
Very large, yes.
Lots of choices to see.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is one of the biggest in the UK, yes.
Yeah.
Even though it's only for 3 days over the weekend, starting on a Thursday, ending on a Sunday.
Yep.
There's over 250,000 people. Plenty of crowds, yeah. Absolutely lovely. Yeah, really crowded at the same time, but it's really nice. So where is Lincoln? Well, as you can see here, it is in the east of the Midlands, and we've got plenty of larger cities around. We've got York, not too far away, Sheffield, Nottingham, about an hour and a half train away, Peterborough, Norwich, and we're getting plenty of students from that area and even from further away. So for instance, John, you are from, you said, sorry.
It's Surrey, literally just below London.
Just below London, quite a distance.
3 hours away.
3 hours away. Oh, not that far in the end. And you are, yeah, 3 hours train is quite a while, I agree. And Sam?
And I'm from an area in Derbyshire called Belper, which is about an hour and a half west of Lincoln.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So yeah, it's lovely to see plenty of people from all around the UK coming and study at the University of Lincoln. So Lincoln itself has got over 2,000 years of history. It's considered one of the UK's friendliest city and one of the top 5 places to live and work in the UK. It's absolutely fantastic. It's great. as well to see that we've got plenty of people who graduated at School of Computer Science and then decide to stay at Lincoln to find a job here and to live here. It's a beautiful city. It's a fantastic, friendly city with plenty of opportunities. Because not too far from the university, we've got the Brayford Pool, which used to be an industry area surrounded by industries. However, nowadays it's more of a touristic area surrounded by bars, restaurants, cinemas. It's absolutely picturesque to walk around there and get a good idea what the city center feels like. From there, you can walk towards the high street through a little passage called, I kid you not, it's called the Glory Hall. It's a lovely little place to walk through to reach the city center, to reach the high street where you can go to the Cornhill Market, see plenty of stalls, see plenty of independent shops. From there, you can walk up Steep Hill. Yeah, it is called Steep Hill. It's one of the steepest streets, high streets in the UK. And you can walk your way up there past more independent shops all the way up to the cathedral. It's absolutely picturesque and beautiful. I really recommend to visit Lincoln at some point. As you can see there on the map, the campus is right in the heart of the city, not too far from the cathedral, not too far from the high street. It's really right in the city center. It's surrounded as well by plenty of student accommodation. So you don't need to take the bus to go to University of Lincoln. You can just walk there in less than 5-10 minutes. It's absolutely brilliant. So Sam, where did you used to live in your first year?
So in first year and now in second year as well, I have lived on campus at the Lincoln Courts development.
Well, it's great. That is about not even 10 minutes walk away from here.
No, it's really, really close. It's sort of, you can pretty much roll out of bed and roll straight into your lectures.
I'm sure you've done that a few times yourself.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. How about you, John, if I may ask?
I was living in Signet Wharf, which is actually not too far away from Lincoln Courts. It's literally the next building along.
It is.
Very, very easy to walk to all the places in Lincoln.
It is. And since it's close to the campus, which is close to the high street, you can go out in the evening or go to university, go to events, and it feels quite safe to come back home late at night as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
That is brilliant. So Lincoln has also captured the imagination of designers, TV show, and video games. For instance, a couple of years ago, a popular TV show filmed inside the cathedral. The outside of the cathedral has also been used for a couple of movies and TV areas and period dramas. Also, Lincoln appears in a couple of video games set in the past. So, for instance, we capturing the imagination, the fight, the hubbub during a couple of wars that happened about 1,000 years ago around Lincoln Castle. So it's great to see Lincoln in different media as well. However, now that I introduced the city, the big question is, why would you choose to study at the University of Lincoln? Well, first of all, we've got a gold standard student experience. We were awarded gold in the Teaching Excellence Framework in 2017, and the Times has awarded us Modern University of the Year in 2021. We ranked number 17 in the Guardian University Guide in 2020, and we are a modern campus in a medieval city. We're incredibly student-friendly, and our work, everything that we teach is state-of-the-art because it's research-focused. We'll be a bit more talk about research in the individual program talk. But also, why would you choose to study at the University of Lincoln? Well, we deliver inspirational teaching. We'd like to find out what students want to know, what inspires them in their study, and we try to engage on that. So, for instance, I know, John, you were really interested in your project is about.
Well, my project is to create game cinematics. They're almost film-like. I have a great interest in film, so I thought it'd be something that I want to try and do in my project as well.
And I remember a couple of weeks ago, we discussed a couple of research papers about.
Yeah, we did.
Yep, and it's great. So it inspired you to continue working in that direction.
Yeah,
That's great. That's great. So and that showcase as well, excellent student support. We've got plenty of opportunities for students to interact with staff, to have a chat with us, to find out if they've got a problem or if they want to know more, that they can always ask staff members and interact with them. And we've also got great employment prospects. We've got plenty of links with the industry. So for instance, I've got a couple of links with the local industry. Other staff members have got links throughout the UK, and we help students to find jobs after they graduated. It's great. And we keep working with the industry to find out what they need, what skills they need, and we teach them throughout our courses. The other point as well is we keep investing in our teaching resources and equipment dedicated to computing students. You're going to see a bit more about that when Simon is going to do the tour. And we've got a massive community of staff and students working together, as shown today with John and Sam working with me to deliver this fantastic virtual open day. And also, why study at the University of Lincoln? As I mentioned, we've got regular engagement with industry partners and guest speakers from across the computing sector, not only computing sector, but also games computing. We had, for instance, the games industry delivering a couple of guest talks a couple of years ago. We recently had the Enhancement Week, where we had more industry partners delivering a couple of talks, etc., etc. We also got plenty of staff publications, which are rated of international quality, with world leading in the most recent research audit. And our graduate employability is consistently above the sector average for computer science department in the UK, according to the most recent survey. So yeah, you come to University of Lincoln, you get fantastic teaching, and you get state-of-the-art teaching delivered by research as well, and you get a fantastic job afterwards. But we also offer industrial placement opportunities. So plenty of students decide to go on an industrial placement between year 2 and year 3. And we've got a dedicated staff members helping them to find a placement. We also got plenty of opportunities such as game jams, hackathons, certifications, and more. For instance, here I've got on the left-hand side a picture of a recent game jam. And there were plenty of smaller competition. So for instance, there we asked participants to stand in a T-pose for as long as possible. And there was one person who stood there for good 25 minutes because they really, really wanted to win that £5 Steam voucher. And it was great seeing that. But what happens after you start studying at the University of Lincoln? The first week is a so-called Freshers Week, Welcome Week, where there's plenty of events to help you get into the flow of being at the University of Lincoln. So for instance, we've got Freshers Fair, where there's plenty of stalls that you can visit to find out about the different societies, the different clubs, the different activities that there are at the University of Lincoln. We've got societies for as good as everything, from a Harry Potter society to a board game society, tabletop society, sports society, even a handful of computer science societies, which is great. And during that time, during the first week, you can also do a lot of admin stuff, meet other students, meet other staff members. It's absolutely a fantastic way to introduce yourself being a student at the University of Lincoln. Do you guys remember your first week at the University of Lincoln?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So my first week at University of Lincoln was happened just at the start of October 2021, and it was quite a lot. It was well, funny story. I managed to lock myself out, but that was because my flat. That was because one of the things that happens in Freshers Week is the SU's weekly clubs night in the engine shed, where also the Freshers Fair takes place.
It's a good memories then.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So thank you. Yep. Yeah, you don't have to.
I just remember going around societies fair, seeing all the good societies, and just having a lot of fun seeing what it was about.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great that you guys remember your first week. So basically, good moments, funny anecdotes. Yeah, locking yourself out in the first week. Yeah, that happens. That happens to
Worst
everyone.
bit was I locked my phone in.
You survived though, with good memory in the end. That is great. So after you've done your first week, you get slowly into the rhythm of teaching and learning. So lectures are delivered by expert staff and visiting specialists. Most of the time we deliver what is so-called 1+2, which is 1 hour lecture plus a 2 hours workshop. So during the lecture, you learn more about the practical more about the theory, of the subject, and then you get to apply the theory hands-on during the workshop in the games lab. What we're doing, we're also doing plenty of assessments, which are formative and summative. Also, assessment also marked during that time and giving feedback to students to improve themselves. We also got independent studies focusing on an area of personal interest, such as the project from Jonathan that he mentioned a few times. You also get to work alongside staff members and other students, such for here, we've got second year student working with third year student, which is great. There will be more about how will you learn in the specific program talks. Something I'd like to mention as well is the contact hours. We've got endless opportunities for contact hours for students to engage with staff members. So we've got staff open door hours, we've got personal tutor hours, plenty of events, workshop hours, etc., etc. So plenty of opportunities for students to engage with staff. The fun of a clicker not working. And once you've done that, after a couple of years, you get to graduate. And you don't only graduate basically on campus, you graduate within the cathedral itself, which is a beautiful area to graduate in. I guess you guys are looking forward for your graduation,
Yeah.
Even though it's a couple of years away for you.
Yes, it is.
It's fantastic. My mother absolutely loved it, and she says, Oliver, it looks like a fantasy. She didn't believe that it was real. It's beautiful with plenty of people, us wearing our little gowns. Absolutely brilliant. Guess, John, you're also looking forward for your graduation.
It's a lovely building.
Hmm?
It's a lovely building.
It is. But after your graduation, here's a couple of success stories from other students. So we've got, for instance, Lewis James. He's now working as IT graduate at McLaren. That's great. Matt Rimmer, he's working locally in a small company here in Lincoln as software engineering. We've got Nathan Darling working in Edinburgh, working at a large games company as content developer. And we've got Jacob Vors working as a business tech specialist in Birmingham. Those students did games computing, they did computer science, and they found jobs either within the games industry or within software development. Absolutely brilliant success stories. All right, that's it for now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the camera for a few seconds, leave you in the hand of Derek and Halet, and I will set up to prepare a tour of the facilities with Simon. So I'll be back on stream for a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you, Oliver. Hi, everyone. My name is Khalid Bashur. I'm just going to say hello briefly now because we want to wait for Oliver to kind of set up again. I'll be talking about the game computing program in a little bit. And Derek's here, who'll be talking about the computer science program. Want to say hello?
Hi, everyone. Cal kindly introduced me.
If anyone has any questions, you can pop them in the chat already, and we'll get to them when we have a break as well. But yeah, for now we're waiting for Oliver to set up and meet with Simon, who are going to be doing the lab tours, which is just about now, it seems.
Okay, so hi, I'm Simon Parsons. I am the head of the School of Computer Science, and I'm here to give you a quick tour of some of our facilities. I'm here with one of our PhD students.
I'm Maddie. I'm a PhD student here at Lincoln. I study research agri-robotics. I'm particularly focused on weed detection and precision spraying, and I've been here 2 years.
Cool, so let's have a little look around. Okay, so this is the atrium. This is the great kind of meeting space we have in the Isaac Newton building. During the daytime, there's a cafe here, and always people like hanging out, doing work, chatting to each other, that kind of stuff. So that's a nice place to be. I'm going to go over here and look at one of the lecture desks. Yeah, so this is it's the big lecture theatre in the Isaac Newton building, one of the big ones across the campus, and we get to use this for a number of occasions when we need to get everybody together. So, for example, in our welcome week for new students, everybody gets together in here. We can hold an entire year of students. We use this for other events. So if we got a big external speaker coming in, we'll use it for that, and it has quite nice video facilities, including these huge screens. Right? So so a typical lecture, somebody back here, right? Projecting stuff up on the screen, and then what I like about this space is there's lots of room to move around. Right? You can come and talk and point to people and get people to call stuff out, and as I say, show things up on the screen. Okay, so let's roll on. Okay, so the reason for coming up here is that a lot of the sort of teaching facilities for the School of Computer Science is on this floor of the building. So we start with this kind of open area where the students can hang out, including here, just pointing out these video machines, which were set up. So what we do is we use these, students program games for them, and then we can capture information about people playing games and use that as part of research and other related things. Okay. So this is one of our teaching spaces where there are people still hanging out, which is fine.
That you don't get. This is what is annoying.
So this is one of our
told me before.
one of our teaching labs. Okay, and in particular, one of the things we teach in here is robotics. Okay, some of our robotics courses. So using these total bot robots. Well, it's fine. You guys stay here. You're doing serious stuff, right? We're just showing people around.
You're just having fun.
Exactly. Right. So then moving right on. So what we've been doing over here is sort of setting this space up as kind of like an informal space for people to hang out, people to do work, people to have lunch, make cups of coffee, that kind of thing. And we have our sort of information wall still in progress on the wall over there, but basically a bunch of screens where we are showing information. One in the middle is showing the timetable, other bits of information, and as you can see right just there on the screen, our little museum of computers and gaming equipment. All right, so moving right along. Again, more screens up here with various information, including the timetable on there. And here we are now in our main teaching lab. This is equipment that was refurbished, but basically replaced, right? Fairly recently, and these are the sort of top spec machines we use with our Series 3 and video cards that we use for intensive programming work, including things like machine learning. And you teach in here, right, Nadia?
Yeah. I teach advanced programming, which is a master's course in this exact room.
Yeah, some of the students are here working on their assignments right now.
Yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll just cross over the corridor here to our fabrication lab, Fab Lab as we call it. So this is the space that we set up over the summer. And it's set up basically to help us build things. So we have, over here we have a laser cutter. Over on this wall over here, we have soldering, so we can make circuit boards. that kind of thing. Okay. And what we've got here, so this is an example of one of the things that our students have been making in here. So this is an open source robot platform. Okay, so the idea being that what you can do with this, you can publish the specification for this, and it's all built using standard equipment like the stuff in the lab. Yeah, so what you can do is, if you want to, is you could build this, right? It's a straightforward thing to be able to do that if you have the right gear. And also, just to show that we have more commercial, I guess, style robots. A couple of standard platforms here. On the right is a Pioneer robot, very standard, in this case, 4-wheel platform for doing mobile robot things. And on the left is Pepper, which is a platform for doing human-robot interaction. And so the reason we set this space up is primarily because we have one of the exciting things that we're doing is setting up a new robotics program, a new undergraduate robotics program, which will be starting in September. Right? This is a joint venture between us and between the School of Computer Science here at Lincoln and 2 other schools. So there's a School of Engineering just down the corridor, and our colleagues at the LIAT, which is the Lincoln Institute for Agri-Food Technology. Okay, so it's a great program because it brings together these people from different disciplines. It's a great program because our the robotics staff who do robotics are world leading in terms of the research they do and the knowledge that they have. And finally, because of the kind of program, right? So one of the things that's going to be unique in this program in the country is the fact it's going to be largely, a lot of it is going to be project based. And what that means is that lots of the modules are going to be come into this space, be given a specification for something to do in a very, very high level way, and then you as a student, you get together in groups and figure out exactly how you're going to tackle this problem. And you're going to have to go out and do some research to try and find out exactly the right things to do in order to solve the problem. And there'll be staff there to support you, right? But it'll basically be you guys go figure out what to do, figure out how to work in a team, and figure out how to deliver the thing. And things like the open source platform that we showed you, right? So you're actually be building physical objects, robots, programming them to do things. That then summarizes very briefly for you the robotics program, and I will return you to our very capable colleagues online.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual open day at the University of Lincoln in the School of Computer Science. As Oliver and Khaled introduced me earlier, I'm Dr. Derek Foster. I'm an associate professor in the school. I'm also the program leader for the MSc Cloud Computing program in the school, and I've got lots of experience with teaching on our undergraduate modules and so forth. So what I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes or so doing, and I'll try my best to keep the time, is to run you through the BSc Computer Science course and give you a whistle-stop tour of all the types of things that you'll learn as part of that program, the approaches that we use in terms of teaching, the types of modules you'll do, and all the great extracurricular opportunities that you'll have while doing that program. Okay, so I already introduced myself very briefly there. My main teaching expertise in the school is around cloud data platforms, cloud development, Internet of Things, and I do some research as well around IoT as well as cloud computing for education. So you had a great tour there of the Isaac Newton building and the computer science and games computing facilities. And Simon, our head of school, walked you around there. So what you can see in front of you now on the right-hand side is the glass building, the Isaac Newton building. And that's the one that you just got the whistle-stop tour of for the facilities. So some of you probably already have a good idea about what computer science is, and you're tuned in, you want to learn more about the program. So let's have a little think about and reflection on what is computer science and actually what it isn't as well. So really, from an academic perspective, computer science is a study of algorithmic processes, computational machines, and compute or computation itself. So we use that computational power to solve problems Those can be societal problems, or could be developing applications, entertainment, health, data analytics, all kinds of things. And we'll touch on them in the following slides as I walk through them. So what is computer science? So apart from the application areas where you'll actually apply all the theory and knowledge that you've learned on becoming a computer scientist, there are some things that you will do on any computer science program. And in particular at Lincoln, we are more of an applied School of Computer Science. So you'll do a lot of learning by doing. You'll learn the theory, the knowledge and understanding, but you'll also do a lot of practical, a lot of hands-on, and a lot of that translates into programming. So you'll do lots of programming at Lincoln. We'll take you from the basics all the way through to advanced. You'll end up being competent at doing object-oriented programming in various languages. You'll learn how to manage and store and distribute information through database systems, cloud database systems, non-relational, relational. You also learn how to understand how computers work. So what we mean by that is the hardware itself. So you've probably got a computer at home, it's got components in there, it's got RAM, it's got memory, it's got motherboards, and you'll learn a bit about the signal processing that goes on inside the hardware. How do the components talk to each other? And then finally, probably the most important part of your program is that you're going to be learning about how to solve problems. So a lot of the assessments that you'll get at Lincoln are scenario-based. So that means we give you a scenario as close to real world as we can get it, and you'll then work either individually or as a group, and you'll go out there and try and solve it through research and coding, prototyping, all kinds of things, until you arrive at a solution that you're reasonably happy with. So computer scientists, in general, computer science is applied to all areas of society now. Some of the more visible areas, of course, are things like gaming, things like data science, entertainment, but there are a lot more serious applications of computer science, and we have some of them on the screen here. Agriculture, monitoring of crops to ensure farmers can get the best back from crops and to ensure that those crops are in good health. So we use sensors and even drones and high altitude radar and everything else to scan all of that, and we get the data back and analyze it. Nuclear reactors, healthcare, security, these are some of the more emergent areas where computer science and in particular data analysts is becoming really important. So essentially a computer scientist helps to solve global problems in many, many different application areas. So what does your program look like? So I could spend a long time going through years 1, years 2, years 3, because I love all these modules. It's great content, lots of great skills that you'll pick up. But let's look at first year, the most important one, because it's the first one or the first year that you're actually going to take. So as a first year student, there are 3 pillars essentially. You've got programming, you've got learning to solve problems, and then you've got how computers work. And then underneath that hierarchy, you have the modules themselves. So each one of the boxes on the bottom, maths for computing, problem solving, computer architectures, all of those are what we call modules. And each one of those modules generally lasts 12 weeks. And inside those modules, you'll learn everything about computer architectures, operating systems, and you'll have some assessments to do as well for them. Those assessments generally consist of coursework, where you'll be given a set amount of time to go away and do it in your own time. Other types of assessment could be an in-class test. And we even have some practical assessments in the later years as well. So we give you the best types of assessments that suits the module that you're actually learning, so that the skills you gain are relevant and you can take those skills into industry. So as I said, there's a big focus on programming in first year, big focus on learning how to solve problems, and also understanding how compute or computation works, as well as the hardware and the software that goes with that. So some option modules as well. When you get into your final year of your program on computer science and games computing too, there'll be option modules that you can choose from. So you can choose from one in semester A, and you can choose from one in semester B. So on the screen right now, we've got some examples or indicative examples of what those modules are that you can choose. We've got cybersecurity, we've got logic and computation, we have virtual and augmented reality. So we've got a real diverse portfolio of option modules that you could be interested in. For example, if you were more interested in security, for example, you were thinking about, I want to get a job in security when I graduate, then you might be thinking about choosing cybersecurity as one of your option modules. And equally, if you're more interested in computation or compute in general, you might choose physics simulation or even logic and computation. So the option modules are great, and we give you all the information that you need so you can make that informed choice on which one you would want to take in each semester. So Oliver at the start really picked up on the Lincoln experience in computer science. All of our programs, the way we run things, it's generally a 1+2 approach, where for every module, for each week, you'll have a 1-hour lecture, and that'll be followed through with a practical workshop. And we do our best to align the practical side of things to whatever it is that you've learned that week too. So lots and lots of hands-on. You've seen all the equipment that we've got. Simon walked you through our labs. We've got high-spec machines, the NVIDIA 3 series, great CPUs, lots of RAM, really, really fast machines. And they're really good for things like training models for machine learning, graphics, everything. So the hardware is there in those labs for students to make the most of. And staff are in there too. Academics are there. We have demonstrators, teaching assistants. So if you run into any issues, you've always got the support that you need when you're actually in the labs as well as a lecture. So as I already mentioned, workshops, lectures generally are face-to-face. We have our big lecture theatres. You've seen the one in INB that Simon walked through at the beginning, big, massive 500-seater lecture. You're not always going to be in those big lecture theatres. Sometimes it'll be a lot smaller, depending on the modules you're on. Could be 30 students on one of your modules, or there could be 100 students. It really depends. The computing labs have also got space to bring your own devices as well. And there are plenty of opportunities to use our labs outside of timetabled sessions that you've got. If you wanted to come in and do some assessment work, you've seen that earlier on in the video too. So we've got lots and lots of facilities for you to make the use of. And we really, really encourage you to do that. So industry certifications. So as well as doing your degree at Lincoln, you have the opportunity to do some extracurricular stuff, such as Microsoft certifications, Cisco certifications, and all of these are free. So we give you all the learning materials, we run the exams, we give you all the practice tests, and we poke and prod you all along the way in a good way, to try and encourage you to take some of these certifications. And what that means is you graduate with Lincoln with a fantastic University of Lincoln degree, but you also have on top of that degree, possibly 1, 2, 3, or even more of these industry certifications. So these can be in cloud, they can be in AI, they can be in data, they can be in security. And with the Cisco, you can get some networking qualifications. So it looks really, really good on your CV if you've got your Lincoln degree classification, as well as a bunch of these industry certifications as well. So it's really, really good, helps your employability prospects. Other things, more social, there's lots of organised events in the school, open to all of our programmes. We've got game jams, we've got the Computer Science Society that do some really, really good stuff, especially in programming and coding. Lots of social events. We have the enhancement weeks that Oliver mentioned earlier too. So there's always something to do. It's not just about coming in for your lectures and workshops. There's always social events. There's always certifications to do. There's always something to keep you busy, always something positive to add to your experience at Lincoln. We often get industry speakers in as well. This is one that we had maybe 1 or 2 years ago that we had this. We had the Google speaker in, and basically the Google engineer basically walked us through what's it like to work at Google for a day. What types of things do I do? What type of software do I develop? Which languages do I use? You know, what does Google, what's it like to work for Google? That experience of it, and students found that really, really insightful, and it really made them think about that. Yeah, it's if you've got the skills and competencies with your computer science degree that you'll learn at Lincoln, then you could too be working for one of these big companies as well, like Google. So some of the facilities, again, you've seen very briefly when Simon walked around the labs. We have all high-spec PCs, we have IoT devices, we have Raspberry Pis, we've got lots of VR headsets, lots of robots, lots of mobile devices, and more importantly, if there's something that you need to do your final year project or your group project at second year, then the school will do their best to facilitate that for you. If you needed something extra, a small piece of hardware or software or cloud credits to do the project that you want to do. So we have everything to bring your knowledge and your projects to life. Placements. Again, this was it mentioned earlier. For a BSc student, you can do your placement between years 2 and 3, and we've had loads and loads of success with placements over the years. Our students work up and down the length and breadth of the UK, sometimes Europe, even international, and they've had placements with GE, General Electric, NHS, Civil Service, QDC, which is a local cloud data center company. So these placements don't necessarily have to be in Lincoln or Lincolnshire. They can be up and down the country, and we do encourage students to travel and get the best experience they can from placements, because they really do help students graduate into the jobs that they want to do. So if you want to find out more about the school in general, all the activities that we do, all the events that we have, any special talks we have coming in, guest speakers and things like that, then search for the School of Computer Science on YouTube, and you'll be able to find a collection of all different kinds of videos that the activities that the school's been doing. And it'll give you a little bit of insight to the staff, our students, and basically the community that we've built up at Lincoln, because it's a really, really good community that we've got, and students and staff work together seamlessly. It's all part of that experience at Lincoln. So thank you, and I do believe I stuck to a good time there for Khaled. I didn't want to rob Khaled of any time for telling you all about our fantastic games program. I'll be on the talk for the remainder of the session anyway, so if anybody has any questions, I'll still be around, but for the moment I'll hand you over to Khaled.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Derek, for giving me just enough time to do my little bit. So, yeah, hi, everyone. My name is Khaled Bashur. I'm the program leader for the Games Computing MComp and bachelor's degrees. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those. So first of all, a little picture of me when I was a little bit younger. So like I said, I'm a program leader for this course. I'm also a senior lecturer, so I do teach mostly teach sort of game design, game studies, and other aspects of design, so user experience design. So I teach on both the games computing program and the computer science program. You'll see me in U1, U2, and U3 of those programs. If you have any questions about this, please pop them in chat, or you can email me at kbashur@lincoln.ac.uk. I'm always happy to answer any questions you might have by email as well. So, so in the same way as what Derek talked about, computer science is quite a big discipline as well. Games computing is sort of a small subsection of that, and we kind of teach games computing not just as a games program, but it is primarily a computer science program with a games focus. So we teach the fundamentals of computer science. We make sure that our students understand how all the kind of basics of computer science, but also have a very strong background in games. So we kind of really focus on all aspects of games, and I'll go through sort of the different types of modules we have that concern games. So we focus on game design and development, focusing on the technical skills. We want to make sure that you leave our program not just knowing how to kind of think about a game, but how to actually make them in different environments, different contexts, and also how to kind of break them down fundamentally and understand games, how they work, and what makes a game fun, and all those kind of things. We have sort of like a strong focus on critical thinking, analysis, and research. It's important for us to create not just people who know a particular language or particular development environment. So it's not just about training you how to use Unity for 3 years. We really try to kind of give you a very well-rounded education, making sure you understand all you need to understand in terms of computer science and how computers work, which is part of the shared track we have with the computer science program, but also about the games themselves. How do they work, and how do we break them down, and how do we build them up, and how do we make them, and how do we analyze them? So games computing is quite well. Games in general is becoming a bigger and bigger industry as we move on, sort of away from traditional media like television and music, which obviously are still there. But all of those together, all the creative industries have been contributing quite a significant amount of money to the UK economy. So that's 115 billion in 2019. Obviously, 2020, 2021 had quite a big dip because of COVID, but things are kind of picking back up. But the sort of the rise in creative industries has been constant over several years, and the games industry itself is one of the biggest, or is the biggest entertainment industry in the UK, beating films and film and music. So we think about film as or Hollywood or music as the biggest kind of entertainment industry, but actually video games are becoming the biggest one. So a lot of people are still skeptical about video games, but I'm not quite sure they have a leg to stand on at this point, because video games are becoming quite a large part of what we consider to be creative industries. It's a very complex and multifaceted discipline. It's about making learning. There's an artistic side to it. There's a creative element to it. There's a technical element to it. So you'll find that if you go into the games, you might think doing games is just about sort of coming up with the next big RPG or something. But you'll see that process is a very complicated process, and we'll try to do our best to kind of give you all the different aspects of it. Um, it is quite a challenging thing to learn, but it's challenging in a good way. It's quite an exciting way, and because of the different skill sets that you require to become a good games computing student, you will find that a lot of our students end up getting jobs, not just necessarily in the games industry itself, but in all other sort of facets in the UK. So in terms of career options, Lincoln is quite well placed, like Oliver told you about in its location. We do have quite a lot of games companies within Lincoln itself that a lot of our students end up in. So Rockstar, for example, we have quite a few students who end up working in the local Rockstar office in Lincoln. We have Playground Games as well, which is sort of very nearby. A lot of sort of big and small games companies around the country and around the local area that are very happy often to recruit our graduates. So a lot of kind of career options there. But like I said, it's not just the games industry that you can work in. If you do a degree with us, you have a lot of the skills that we teach are applicable to elsewhere. You can work in the film industry nowadays. Most films you watch are primarily all computer generated content, and there's just bits of people's faces in them, right? So the skills that you learn for making video games can be applied in all sorts of other locations as well. So being a games programmer gives you a lot more opportunities elsewhere. So what do you expect from joining the games computing program in our school? Well, you'll be making some games, and that's part of our focus is that there's a lot of opportunity for you to improve and develop your own game skills, and that's sort of part of the ethos we have, is that we want to give you a strong foundation in computer science, but also a strong foundation in games. So I show you kind of a map of the courses or the modules that you will be taking during these 3 years if you're doing the bachelor's degree. You'll notice the gray modules are the ones that are shared with computer science. So you'll be taking them with your fellow computer science students, and the green ones are the ones that are sort of primarily games focused, so they're quite different from the computer science program. So you'll still be taking the maths, the programming, problem solving, algorithms, object-oriented programming, all the kind of foundational stuff you really need to know, because you can't make games without understanding the computer science aspect of it. And then we kind of do the additional stuff. So if you focus on year one, we've got game studies and game design. Game studies is about understanding games in general, and game design is about specifically the game, the theoretical and practical aspects of designing video games. So I wanted to kind of show you a couple of examples of some of our students' work. So in the game studies module, generally we try to teach you all aspects of games. We learn about the history of games. We learn about game design research. We learn about some critical issues. So violence in video games, is it a big deal? Should you worry about it? All sorts of kind of stuff. Give you a kind of well-rounded view of what games are about. And also in this module, we'll also usually learn how to make games. So we currently use Unity as our development engine. So you learn how to make games using this commercial engine. Here we're focusing on gameplay and programming. We're not focusing on design because we haven't learned about game design yet, but we focus on you understanding how to actually make a game from scratch. So this is an example of a module, very much from the very first semester in your first year, you already have a piece of work that you can put in your university portfolio, in your portfolio, that you can, in 3 years later, hopefully show your future employees, say, look, here's the kind of games I can make. And you'll be making so many of those during your 3 years that you'll end up having a nice big portfolio that can showcase your skills. So a couple of examples of some of our games. So this is the module in which we don't give the students particularly much in terms of their design. Uh, we don't give the students the ability to design their own games. This is not working. So we give the students the ability we ask students to design a very specific kind of game. So we don't really tell them what game this is. What we give them a specific game brief and tell them, here's the game brief that you have to do, and we ask them to do that to make the game themselves. So let me just bring up my slides again. I'm very sorry about that. Where's my thingy? Here we go. Right, so I'm going to bring up my slides again. I'll probably skip the videos in that case. So the idea was that in the first year, you kind of make games primarily based on a particular brief. We don't necessarily tell you, we don't give you that much flexibility in terms of what you can do. You have to kind of make a game just to understand how games actually work. So I'll skip to that. Right, there we go. In year 2, we start going a little bit further. So year 1 is about understanding the basics. Year 2, we kind of go a little bit further. There's a team software engineering project where you work as a team to try to build something together. Very often for our game students, this ends up being some form of game. We learn about concept development, so how to just take a game not just as a basic simple idea, but how to kind of expand it, make it into a complex notion. And then we have games programming, which is a module which is all about building games from scratch. So where in first year you used to use Unity, you'd use Unreal, you'd use Unity, which is a system a bit like Unreal Engine, if you're familiar with that, where you learn to make a game. Here in games programming, you start learning how to make games from scratch, just from C++. So literally no support whatsoever from a previous engines, and you make it all there. So you learn about physics, you learn about collision detection, you learn about rendering, you learn a little bit about some graphics stuff as well. So here again, you end up with another opportunity to showcase your abilities to make games, and this time you're making games on your own. So here's an example. I'm not going to try to play the video because I'm afraid it's going to crash again. There's a couple of examples of some of the videos. Oh, this one works. That's nice. So a couple of examples of some of the work that the students can do, have been doing. So you can see the quite a diverse range of different things that different students have done as part of the course. Right. I pushed my luck too far. So once again, it seems I'm in a. Here we go. So and then in terms of the third year, we will be doing. In the third year, this is the year which is almost entirely focused on your own interests and your own what you want to do. So I will show you that in a second. Okay, so here we go. So third year. So here we go. Right, third year. Third year is kind of where we go into advanced topics, right? This is where we really kind of finish polishing your skills, graphics, procedural content generation, physics simulation, learning all of the more advanced topics that are required in modern games. We now know how to make games. We know how to develop and design our own concepts, and now we learn all sort of like advanced techniques. You have additional options, some options in year 3 where you get to pick your own alternative options that you can choose from. You have virtual reality, for example, as an option you can take. We have mobile development, which as an option as well. And then most importantly, you have this big project where you get to kind of really showcase your own interests. So this is where you have a full year where you spend some time with a particular academic at the university and work on a particular project that's of interest to you. So you get to choose your own interests there, and you make something that is what you're interested in. So PCG is a module, like I said, where you learn to kind of generate worlds, generate levels based on algorithms. It's another opportunity for you to showcase your portfolio skills. So I'm going to skip the video entirely. Avoid that situation. So, like I said, portfolios are a big thing that we kind of want to push our students to do. We want to make sure that you have every opportunity to create games. You have opportunities within the modules themselves. You have opportunities outside the modules as part of game jams or research opportunity schemes where you spend the summer with an academic doing some work on a project, and then have additional opportunities to do that. So it's generally quite rewarding, quite fun. Quite a technical, challenging experience to do a games computing program with us. We kind of require you to have some excitement and enthusiasm, commitment, and interest in games. It's not easy to make games, so you have to really kind of want to do them to make them well. And we expect to kind of most of our students who come, they really have this very strong passion, and you can see them quite sort of interested in games in general, and they have a lot of sort of excitement around that. And like we said previously as well, with Oliver and Derek both mentioned placements, and we have lots of opportunities for doing placements with local sort of games companies, as well as other kind of industries as well. Like I said, it's not just about game development. There's a lot of industries that are interested in taking our graduates on. So these usually happen between year 2 and 3. They're about 12 months long. We often provide support for helping you find and apply for these placements. We don't charge anything for that, so that's just something that we like to push our students to do. We also allow for internships where you can do a shorter, for example, 3 months over the summer, rather than do a full year if you want to kind of get your degree done lots faster. We got a lot of extracurricular activities that take place within the school: game jams, hackathons. We have student societies such as Game Development Society, Gaming Society, and the Computer Science Society, all of whom organize events regularly throughout the year that are all focused on either playing games, making games, or working with others to build some system, depending on the particular context. We've got we've mentioned this before, and the games computing students also have access to all of the Microsoft and Cisco certification that Derek mentioned as well. So this is not just for the computer science program, and we also are part of this TEF Gold award that we received a few years ago. And finally, we are coming up with validating a new program called the Games Computing with Virtual and Augmented Reality. This is a new program that is going to be starting hopefully in September and October 2023, subject to validation. So we still need to make sure that it's all been approved by all the different powers that be. And essentially, it's a similar program to the Games Computing program we currently have, but this one will have a lot more focus on virtual and augmented reality. If that's something that is particularly interesting for you, please feel free to drop us a message and we can have a chat about that. Yeah, that's it. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and hopefully you got the idea of what I was trying to kind of get across. We have lots of ways to communicate with us, so please feel free to get in touch in whichever way you find easiest to you. We're all very happy to answer questions about anything that you have. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Derek.
Hello.
Hello again. So we've done quite a lot today. So thank you very much. Khaled discussed all about games computing program. Derek introduced us to the computer science program. Simon guided us through the facilities and discussed the robotics program. So it was quite a lot that we covered last hour. So this is the end of this virtual open day for the School of Computer Science at the University of Lincoln. So thank you, Sam. Thank you, John. So we'll stay in the chat for a few more minutes. If you've got any more questions, we'll be happy to answer them. If you've got questions in the future or something that pops in your mind after this virtual open day, feel free to send us an email by visiting our University of Lincoln School of Computer Science website and click the little button to send us an email. It will most likely find its way to me or to all the relevant staff members. So again, thanks a lot to everyone for joining us,
Yes,
and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.